So we're gonna start today by going over your homework. I want to remind you, if you were planning on doing test corrections, so it's a guaranteed 10 extra points on your test or whatever grade you actually earn. Those are due on Tuesday. You have to have retaken the test by Tuesday. So we are on page 10. Sorry, wrong one. Yeah, right there. Of course, somehow I managed not to do the answer key again on here. So I guess we're doing it together. So we already did all of Buffalo. I don't remember if we did Watertown. Looks like we did half of Watertown together. So we had to do the longitude still for Watertown. Remember, the longitude has to be done in minutes, just like the latitude. So Watertown was right here. It was Watertown on the 76 line. No, it was a tad bit smaller than the 76. So it was almost 76 degrees. So it's 75 something. And how many minutes would you have called that? 55 would work, 58 would work. So again, you're almost to the whole degree. Just like on the clock, when you're almost to the whole, like noon, if you're 11:58, you're almost noon. All right, Elmira, what'd you get for a latitude for Elmira? 42 degrees. Now, guys, be careful with 5. 5 is 0, 5. You said did 10, that's fine. If you just put a 5, I would recommend, I would accept it, but it's better to do it 0, 5. So I didn't think you just meant like 0.5. So just be careful with that. And how about for the longitude? Okay, like 48, 50 minutes. I'm actually gonna go 50 minutes west. And you do write it 76 degrees, and then you do the minutes, and then you put the west. If you did it the other way, I don't think I'd have to mark off, but just this is officially how it goes. Slide Mount, I think most of you said it was right on 42 degrees. Technically, you don't have to write 0 minutes, but again, that way I know you know what you were doing. And then for the longitude, what were you thinking? No, I don't think it's right on the 74. I might be wrong, though. Let me. There's the 74. Yes, Slide Mount's not right on the 74. Here's 75, if that helps. So I must not have drawn all my lines yesterday. There's 75. What do you think? How many minutes? If this is 74,
40.
And that's 75. No, 40 is going to be more than halfway. So here's the halfway mark. How many? 25 would be perfect. What is that? What'd you put? I'd like to hear, because I'd like to get into the heads of my students. Anybody else willing to tell me what they put? You put 45? Okay. So, and that's a very common mistake. So they are getting bigger going, because you would think they get bigger going to the right, because that's how number lines have always worked. But these numbers are getting bigger going to the left. So here's 74, that's 75. So it does make sense why you did that. You just got to get that out of your head. All right, so we are on Mount Marcy. What's the latitude for that one? 40 what? No, 45 is going to be way up here. Here, wait, are we doing the minutes or the degree first? The whole degree. Here's Mount Marcy. Here's 44, there's 45. 43 is way down here. Yeah, it's 44 something. And here, yeah, here's the dot for Mount Marcy, right above the 44 line. So 44 degrees, 5 minutes north. So if you weren't here yesterday, I would make sure you know how to do these instead of just copying down the answers, because this is a little tricky. And if you weren't here, I made a beautiful video of your class yesterday, and you can just go ahead and watch that. Hint, I'm also making a beautiful video of your class right now. So it's okay. All right, Mount Marcy's longitude. How about that one? Mine's right on the 74 line for Mount Marcy. Here's the 74 line, and the dot literally cuts right. We didn't do the longitude yet.
Oh, 74.
Yeah, I said 74. What? What'd you put for Mount Marcy? Okay. No. Can I hear what you said? Okay, so it was the same. So you were then, unless your line isn't straight on. And that could be a problem too. You might not have lined it up with the 2 dashes for 74. Okay, so yeah, that looks, yours looks good. So that's okay too. So was yours not right on the line? It's like over a little bit. Over on the right side. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna come check what you're talking about, because now I understand why it's good. Yeah, yours is 73. Yeah, beautiful. Yep, you do. So I'm not sure if my line is just that much thicker than yours. I'm not sure. But being off just a tiny bit is okay. Messina. How many of you struggle to find Messina? Since it's up there in Canada practically. There's Messina. For the latitude, what'd you put? Yeah, I'm even gonna go even closer than 50 because it's almost touching the line. I'm going like 58, 59 degrees north. You put what? 60 is not a time. So remember, 60 is when the clock would start over again for the next hour. So same with that. Okay, sorry, I wasn't sure who was. Same with Messina's longitude. It's almost 45. So what do you want? Or I'm sorry, it's almost 75. What do you want to give it? Yeah, 74 degrees, 59, 56, 55, anything like that would work. Really close to 75. What the heck? You said 44. That's the longitude. That's the latitude, I'm sorry. Latitude is the up and down one. So this is why I actually like to put my ruler on. Because when you're doing the latitude, it tells you that you have to read the numbers going this way. So you're reading the 45 number. Longitude's when you're going up and down, and that's when you're going to read this number. But yes, up in Messina, the 2 numbers are practically right on top of each other. So that's going to be one that is easy to switch the numbers around. And you just have to stop and think. Latitude for anywhere in New York State is going to be in the 40s, and longitude is going to be in the 70s. Okay, you're just going to have to stop and think for a second before you just write down what you're seeing. Plattsburgh, also practically in Canada. Not quite as far up north as Messina, but pretty darn close. What do you want to do for latitude there? So again, latitude goes this way. So you were reading the numbers on this side, so we're not quite 45. What do you want to make it? Definitely. What's the first number? 44. So we're 44 something. How many do you want to estimate the minutes? What? How many? No, I don't think so. I just literally can't hear you. Here's the halfway mark. We're a little bit higher than the halfway mark. So 44, 45. a drink might help. Do you want, I either have cups back there by that sink, or you can go get a drink from the faucet. Yeah, 40 is perfect. That's what I thought you said. I just couldn't hear you. There was some distraction. You got to trust yourself. And for the longitude, I think it is 73 degrees. And no, not 45, because there's the halfway mark right there. 25. Riverhead. Again, how many of you struggle to find Riverhead because it's hiding down here in Long Island? There's Riverhead. Riverhead's almost 41. 40 degrees. How many minutes do you want to make it? 55 works. Use. And it all depends on where you looked. So the dot is right here. It should be a little bit less than 41, but you'd probably be fine. And same with longitude. Here's the first longitude line that we have on there, 73. 72 is marked over here a little bit. What do you want to make Riverhead? How many?
73.
Wait, it can't be 73. 73 is here. So this way is 73. 72, I'd say 35 or 40 would work. So definitely sounds like we need some more work on that. We'll get some more work on latitude and longitude in a second here. The last question though is the mouth of the Niagara. How many of you have no idea what I was talking about when I talked about the mouth of the Niagara?
Yeah,
Didn't know which one. Perfect. So I did say, I think before you guys left class, that the mouth is where a river empties.
Yeah.
In case you ever need to remember that, rivers are a lot like words. When you say words, what should you do before you say the words? Think. And you think in your head. Rivers start at the head and they empty out the mouth. So just like words, they should start in your head, empty out of your mouth. That's how I remember. Little PSA there, think before you speak. And then that'll help you. But then, as you said, that didn't help you. Because does it say on here where the river starts and where the river ends? It looks like I completely covered up my river with my line, so it was hard to see it. I can see it a little bit better on here. Here's the Niagara River. It is labeled over here. And the Niagara River connects Lake Erie to Lake Ontario. Do you know what way rivers flow? No. No. No, it's what? What'd you say? What did you say? They do flow everywhere, but I cannot say all rivers flow north. I can't say all rivers flow south. I can't say all rivers flow east or west, because rivers can flow anywhere. But what can I say about a river? All rivers flow down. They don't all go to the ocean. Eventually they will make it there, but you can say all rivers flow down. And what do I mean by down? Like, good, charades for the win. I love it when you always tell me with their hands. You got to get used to putting these into words. You want to get a drink? No. Oh, you're doing charades? Yeah, they flow downhill. All rivers flow downhill. Except for what? No,
The Nile flows up.
no, it doesn't. Rivers can't flow up. But I can tell you, I know what you're talking about, because in social studies, I think there is a miscommunication with some elementary social studies teachers and the words down and up and north and south. Can you guys all point up for me? Can you all point down? Can you all point north? That way. So there is a huge confusion, and I think it's because on maps, up is north and down is south on a piece of paper. So I think when elementary social studies teachers sometimes say the word down, they mean south. And when they say up, they mean north. And they shouldn't use the words up and down because then it leads kids to think that you can just interchange them. Meaning, what you were just saying is the Nile River does flow north, but the Nile River doesn't flow up. You can't interchange those words. Sorry, this has been a pet peeve of mine. I remember my 6th grade social studies teacher, Mr. Suda. I'm sitting in the second row from the wall, back, but not the very last seat, second to back seat. I can remember this. And I remember Mr. Suda saying, all rivers flow south. And then he said, except for the Nile, it flows north. Mr. Suda meant all rivers flow down because they all do. Okay, so I think there was a little bit of trouble with vocab words that has kind of stuck in our brains. So we can't say they all flow north or south or east or west, but we can say they all flow down because you can't have a river that goes uphill. Okay, so all rivers flow downhill. So back to this map. I know it's been a long story, but I feel like I need to get that off my chest every year. Which way is downhill on this map? No. So downhill, can you see which way is downhill on a flat map like this? No, down and south are two different words. You can tell which way is south. That is this way. But I want to know something about hills. There's 2 hints on this map. Hang on, there's 2 hints on this map over by the Niagara River. So everybody go find the Niagara River and see if there's any hints over there. Hints there is.
Niagara Falls.
Well, Niagara Falls is there. But, oh, what did you just find? Elevation of Lake Erie is 175 meters. And Lake Ontario is 75 meters. So to go downhill, which way is this river going? Not up. Up is that way. North. No, it is not going up, it's going north. I know that. But so here's why I'm being so kind of weird about this. If you wrote, if the region says which direction does the Niagara River flow, up. And if you say up, oh, okay, so it's okay to say up now. No, because I'm looking at it now. So here's where you got to start making sure you're using the correct vocab. The river is not flowing up, it is flowing north. Okay, so the Niagara River flows north, so then the mouth of the Niagara River must be right here where the river enters Lake Ontario. So right there where I just put the circle. So why don't you guys all double check your latitude using minutes and your longitude using minutes. So it's right where the Niagara River enters Lake Ontario. Everybody does. That one doesn't have any for some reason. Weird. That's strange.
I'm so confused, I'm like, oh.
No, I don't, I bet somebody forgot to put it on, is really what happened. All right, did you double check your latitude? What did you say is the latitude of the mouth of the Niagara? 43, how many minutes? 15 or 20, because here's the halfway. Yeah, that works, absolutely. 43 degrees, 15 minutes north. And for the longitude, yeah, it looks like it's right on for 79 for me at least. North, south, east, or west?
North,
Latitude, longitude,
west.
west. We're west of the prime meridian. 5 minutes is fine, yep. So I think we need some more work on that.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're flipping over to page 11. And here's where things get weird and we introduce ELA into some science. Because back in the day when Lake Ontario was a huge shipping port, they connected Lake Ontario through the Erie Canal. They connected Lake Ontario up through the St. Lawrence River to New York City. And it made it a huge shipping port. And when you have shipping, you also have shipwrecks. So somebody, this guy named Willis Metcalf, however you want to pronounce it, I don't know. Yeah, that might be it. He wrote a poem. Here it is. Are you ready? The Graveyard of Lake Ontario. The graveyard of Lake Ontario. The main duck is widely known, for a score of helpless vessels on its jagged shores have blown. Duluth to Montreal, Cleveland to the sea, veteran mariners spin tragic yards. About an island near the Galouse, ancient brigs and man of wars, schooners, barges and friggers, all derelicts on its shore, laden friggers, tugs and tows, frigates, isn't that how you pronounce it? Have grounded on its shoals, held prisoner by the rocky tentacles, unfreed from their struggling thors. The graveyard of Lake Ontario, a sailor's last port of call. For many veteran seamen, arrive not at home in the fall. Lulled by the wind and the waves, they sleep on the boundless deep in a harbor fair, safe port at last. Okay. It's just talking about how Lake Ontario was a dangerous place. So the Great Lakes of the United States are important and busy shipping routes of goods and materials. Unfortunately, they have also been the site of many shipwrecks. Plotting the positions of these wrecks on the map on the next page will give you some insight onto where many of the wrecks occurred, as well as giving you some practice using degrees, minutes, and seconds of latitude and longitude. I'm going to tell you, you can rip that page out so you don't have to flip back and forth. The page with the poem on it, page 11. And then you'll see on page 13 is a zoomed in map of Lake Ontario. I'm going to give you a hint. Guys, where do shipwrecks happen? In the lake. So the lake is this area. So when you plot this, your plot should be in the lake. If you've got a plot somewhere like not in the lake, you've done something wrong. So I didn't say you had to pick up rulers, but if anybody wants a ruler, help yourself. You will see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points. So we've got the latitudes, they're in the 40s, they're the flat ones, and the longitudes in the 70s, they're the up and down ones. So go ahead and plot these 12. Label each one. You can label it with a first letter if that's easier than writing the whole word, because I really just care about the points, not the names. Do you want to do one together to refresh your memory?
No.
Okay, so I'll do one. If you choose to pay attention, that's up to you. So we're going to do this we're doing Siglo. I don't know. 43 degrees, 36 minutes. Yep, so here's 43, there's 44. So what's the halfway mark? Wait, it's what? And it's 43 degrees, 30 minutes is right there. No, but then you gotta get that out of your head, because it's not 50 like halfway to 100. It's 30 like halfway around the clock. So 36, if this is 44, this would be 43 degrees. How many minutes right there? 45 is gonna be right there. So 36 is going to be somewhere down near the 30, a little bit higher. And then we want a longitude of 79.29. Well, here's 79, there's 80. What's this halfway mark? 79 degrees, 30 minutes. So 29 is practically 30. So we're gonna go right where those two meet. And voila, there's your first point. Practically on the shore of Lake Ontario. That's gonna be the SLIGO one. All right, so I'm gonna come around and help you. If you don't finish these 12 plots, this is homework.